Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of Mike and Hype. Today we have Shweta joining us, who is the founder of Herculean, and what she does is she trains women globally in the field of fitness and health.
You have to be strong. A lot of people will tell you a lot of positive feedbacks, negative feedback. See what you can improvise, but don't give up on yourself. So when I started my personal transformation, to be honest, I had zero knowledge of what was going to work for me, what was not going to work for me. It took a lot of time for me to reach my goals. So I think you have to prioritize at least 20 to 30 minutes of movement. Not just movement in physical way, even basic breathing and yoga will also help you with your mind also. You have a goal, focus on the goal. Simple. Do not give up. Just go for it. Do what makes you happy at the end of the day. If you don't go to sleep being satisfied with what you do, then I think you got to take a back seat, think about what you have to do, what makes you happy, and then go with it.
Welcome Shweta, thank you for being a part of our show.
Hi Saranya, thank you so much for having me here. So basically in Herculean, we train women globally for a very specific reason. So that will be PCOD, PCOS and prenatal and postnatal yoga. So that's what we do. So that's about it.
Thank you so much. That sounds very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having today. Shweta, can you tell us what inspired you to start Herculean, and what was that first spark for your venture, and what did that look like?
So my first spark to start Herculean into a full-fledged business was my personal transformation and also being a part of a lot of women's life-changing moments.
That's really, really nice. You're certified in Pilates, nutrition and more. What drew you into the world of wellness? And I know that there's a personal turning point, but what was that moment that made you decide that, hey, this is what I want to do? Not just for others, but for yourself also.
So when I started my personal transformation, to be honest, I had zero knowledge of what was going to work for me, what was not going to work for me. It took a lot of time for me to reach my goals. I dropped about 25 kgs within about 11 months. Then I spotted a gap, the knowledge between what people know and what you actually have to do in terms of reaching your goals, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. So I wanted to be the bridge that was, having the gap. And then I started learning about Pilates, the certifications, what works best for women. And then we went narrowed down, and then that's where
Herculean was born.
Yeah,
exactly. And how did your family and cultural background shape this mindset and this choice? I'm sure, it's not easy building a business, and I'm guessing you have a really, really supportive family who I've had the pleasure of meeting, and I would like to know what role that they've played in this whole journey.
So it's my parents who have been the backbone for Herculean. Without them, I don't think I'll be sitting here and talking. And my father has his own event managing company. So I've been learning a lot of, entrepreneurial roles from him. I learned basic things on how to deal with clients, the team, and a lot more.
Yeah, we've both worked events. I know you know that industry is just, it keeps
tiring.
Giving, it keeps teaching. There's nothing like it.
Yes, exactly.
What were some of your biggest challenges while you were turning your passion for fitness and wellness into a successful business? But when I say challenges, I don't mean just the hardships, but I also mean the pleasant surprises, or what were some things that you said, hey, I thought this might have been so difficult, but look at this, I'm doing it. It's not that hard at all.
Yeah. So first was being credible, because I don't think people just throw themselves into a fitness or a health-based industry without them actually seeing other people having some major transformations from our brand. So when this has been the case, it took a lot of time for me to first get confidence on myself. So I started, being credible. I started building a base for a few number of clients, like all my relatives and friends and social circle. So once they started seeing the results, people started asking them. And then I was like, oh, okay, actually this is working. And that's when I started, having a instant boost of confidence. And then I started building my page and started reaching out people and clients, and then people just
and now today people are reaching out to you.
Exactly.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah.
And I think, you've been in this industry for a while. You've been in the business for a while. students today or young entrepreneurs that are starting out today often worry about how to stand out. And that's something very similar to what you said, is being credible in an industry like that. How do you think, without being industry specific, what are some, maybe I would say, character traits, or what are some personality traits that you think students today should have in order to stand out in a competitive industry? Today, every industry is competitive, not just
Exactly.
maybe one or two.
Yeah.
So, how do they stand out? What do you think they can do to stand out?
So the first thing is do your research. Don't just jump into your ideas and try to, make a big deal out of it. First, get your research, get to a niche, narrow down your wants or what you are expecting out of your business. And from there, slowly start building it. Use your social media platforms. We have so many platforms these days: Instagram, Facebook, a lot of stuff. So you can use that to build your customer base. Start promoting your services or products. The main mindset has to be you not giving up. Of course, you cannot plant a seed and expect a huge tree the next day. You should
Continuously
not
keep watering.
give up.
Yes.
Just keep doing. You'll not have any contacts the first day. Even after a month, you'll just have one or two clients. It's fine. That's
How
where
you
you
build it,
start,
yes.
right? So it is a slow process, especially in the industry where there's so much of competition. Everyone's doing something or the other, and they all call themselves influencers and bloggers and all of that. So you have to go with the flow and make sure you just do what you have to do. You have to always think about the end goal. The other things, all the other things are just going to be noise.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, in today's world, there is so much of noise because you have so much of access to knowledge. You have so much of access to the internet,
Exactly.
tools, and like you mentioned, social
You're
media.
exposed to a lot of things. So one day you want to do wellness, the next day you want to do beauty. We don't know what
You're so
we-
confused. Yes.
exactly you
Yes.
need. But then you have to stick to one single goal and go about it.
I think just trust your gut and just
100%.
bet on yourself at the end of the day should be the
if
motto.
you don't bet on yourself, nobody else is going to.
I think that couldn't have said it better. What does being a Herculean mean to you? And not just in fitness, but also in business and also in daily life.
So Herculean means strong. That's where the entire name and everything came up. So I don't see Herculean just as a fitness brand. We also uplift a lot of women mentally and emotionally by helping them build their family and a lot of other stuff. So I feel, having that strong mindset of not giving up, and some days will be dark, some days will be bright. So you have to, that's the process of growth. So for me, Herculean is strong. So not just in fitness, I also see the same strength and I have the willpower to push through no matter what. In other, areas also, whether it's business or family. So you have to be strong. A lot of people will tell you a lot of positive feedbacks, negative feedback. See what you can improvise, but don't give up on yourself. So that's what I see myself and my brand. So anyone reaches out to us also, we first say stop stressing about whatever you're trying to stress about. Just focus on what you have to do. You don't have to figure out the 10th step. Start small, start doing step 1, step 2. You'll automatically reach to the 10th step.
That makes sense. Can you also share, since we spoke about how being strong in different aspects of life is very at the core of what Herculean is, can you share how you balance the demands of motherhood, if I may say, business and personal wellness? Any daily hacks, any routines that help you? I know maybe we're talking about students that are going to, get started in that process, but tomorrow these women entrepreneurs are going to be in your shoes, are going to be
100%.
managing businesses, families, being a mother, being a wife, and all of that. What comes with it, and how do you tackle it?
So structure and discipline. I'm keeping it very simple. Whether it's family, kid, or business, you need to have a structure. So for me, for example, I have a structure. So I know my kid's gonna get up at this time, sleep at that time. So I have my business hours around my family time. Okay, and likewise, it goes both the ways.
Hand in hand,
So
yes.
you should never, put all your effort in one single thing. Of course, as women, we are demanded with a lot more than just being career oriented. So try to balance and have a structure. If you are disciplined with that structure for a month, trust me, after that, it's going to just be a part of your lifestyle. So you're going to ace every single thing, whether it's motherhood or cooking for your family or, running a business and taking care of your clients also. For me, my clients are also like my children. So I have structures. I'm very, very, keen on discipline. So you have to have all of that in order to be able to balance it out.
You make it sound like it's a piece of cake, and I
No,
know it's
not.
not. having seen you work in real
Yeah.
time, I know how much structure matters to you as well. What are some unique challenges that I'm not going to say as an entrepreneur, but as a woman entrepreneur that you faced? Because, like you said, there are so many people on the internet who all have an opinion on everything, who all have their 2 cents to say about things.
Yeah.
But I think we don't talk much about, what women entrepreneurs face. As an entrepreneur, overall, we have a lot of communications going on. But what are maybe some of the challenges I think you would say unique to women entrepreneurs, and how have you overcome them?
Okay, so let me put it as what challenges as women in the working industry itself face, not just entrepreneurs, but also, the society that we live in just blandly say, if you are going to start a family, you have to give up on your career or your goal. So I don't feel you have to do that. If you know how to balance and tackle everything, I think you can, we women are jack of all trades. Like, come on, you can
There's not a
do
thing
it.
we can't do.
Exactly, yeah. So you can just, figure out, see, it's not going to happen overnight. There will be trial and error methods, but I think you have to, not just give up because there are people going
Who
to
have an opinion.
and stuff. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is if you're going to bed satisfied with what you did for the entire day, whether it's family or friends or having your social life, taking care of kids, and also running a business, you're already winning. Like, come on.
Everything else is just noise, like you said earlier.
Exactly. So just don't worry about anything. Do what you have to do. Be career driven, be family driven, find the balance. Finding balance will take time. I'm not going to be, say I can't just expect everyone to ace it. There are going to be tough days. There will be days where you're like, I'm so done, I just want to give up. But please don't, because at the end of the day, you're going to
It'll be worth it.
feel so good about you being able to juggle things. So yeah, it's going to be worth it, like in all ways, all aspects of life.
I think that brings me to my next question. You just mentioned it, and what is something that you do on days that are not so good? Like you just mentioned, hey, there are good days, there are bad days, there are days when you just want to give up. What do you tell yourself, or what is that one motto, or is there something that you specifically do where like, hey, this is that day that this is my pick me up on those days?
So basically, I tell this to everyone, listen to your body and mind. If it asks you to shut down and just be in bed, eat a tub of ice cream and just binge watching whatever you have to feel good for the next 10 days, do it. It's not going to cost you anything. One day, it's fine. You can take a break from your work, from your family. You can ask someone to babysit your kid and do this so that you feel better. So for me, that's my pick me up. Like, I just need one day to just not do anything, because running around from morning 6 to night 11, you have those days, right? And it's very often for people who are expected to put both physical and mental work, especially in my industry. So that's what I do. And the next day, trust me, you'll have such, you'll be like a ball of energy bursting everywhere.
I'm like
You'll
a
have new
newborn
ideas.
baby.
Yeah, everything will pop out after that. So that needs to be done. So you have to listen to your body. Don't just keep going and going just because you have a dream. One day of pausing it is not going to, bring you to ground zero. You can take breaks. Rest is very, very necessary for everyone. So make sure you prioritize that, and
So rest days are very important,
exactly.
no matter what stage of life you are in. I'm
Exactly.
guessing.
Rest days are important, whether you're working out or not.
Well, that brings me to why do you think wellness and confidence are crucial for students and young entrepreneurs today. And the reason I'm asking you this is because our childhoods were so different compared to what childhood looks like today. I can't remember a day in the week when we didn't go out and play, or we weren't at the
Exactly.
park, and just the fact that we have so many scars to show for it, as opposed to children today, because the concept of screen time and tablets and everything is so much more. And we're spending so much time on the internet today. But and I mean wellness in a holistic manner, not just in a fitness manner, but also coming from you. What is the importance of being physically fit, and how do you think that impacts you in every other aspect of your life?
Exactly. So kids these days are so hooked up to all these social medias and tablets and phones. There's zero physical activities. So when there's zero physical activities comes a lot of other health and medical conditions as well. So I think you have to prioritize at least 20 to 30 minutes of movement, not just movement in physical way. Even basic breathing and yoga will also help you with your mind also, on what you have to reflect, what needs to be prioritized and stuff. So for me, especially when young minds need to have some physical or wellness routine, I feel it doesn't only help them with physical appearance or looking good and feeling good. Of course, that comes
The part of the
handy,
parcel.
okay? But it helps them with academic performance, their mental clarity, they have emotional stability. So it helps with a lot of mental and emotional
Capabilities
also. So I think wellness has to be prioritized in educational centers itself, because these days we all know, right, everyone's just hooked up to something or the other digitally. So I feel the physical aspect of movement and stuff is taken a backseat. So when you put that at least 30 minutes, I think 30 minutes is not a big deal.
Definitely.
To give
In a day,
yourself
30 minutes
yeah.
is very
So
less.
do that, and trust me, you will have so much things aligned for you, not just business wise, but also your basic family, personal space, everything will be in track.
Better aligned.
Yeah, so I think you have to do that.
What simple habits or mindset shift would you recommend that students can adopt to boost, I think, everything that we just discussed previously? And let's say, okay, 30 minutes of the day is not a lot, but we've all been a student at some point. 30 minutes feels like, oh, I could be doing so much more. I could be
Yeah.
going out. I could be having a social life, and I could be at a college club, college event, so on and so forth. But what are maybe some very simple shifts in hey, you don't have to do a lot, but just this bare minimum will get you one step closer to that on a daily basis?
So I'll tell you three things. Very basic, anyone can do it. It works very good for all age groups. Start your day with water. We people have a habit of starting our day with caffeine, which is very, very bad. So the tip is, do not consume any type of caffeine, whether it's tea or coffee, until 8 a.m. Before that, no, it's a complete no. So start your day with a huge glass of water. And second is, eat real food.
Mainly for students, we're living off instant noodles, and we're
Yes.
living off Swiggy.
So, yeah, even if you can order through Swiggy, order a bunch of bananas and
Or a salad.
salad, rather than all these packed foods. And third is to get sunlight. 5 to 10 minutes of sunlight before 7 a.m. works wonders. When it comes to mindset tips, you have a goal, focus on the goal. Simple. There will be a lot of distractions. You have to be so strong and stable enough. Like I said, you should have a structure so that all the other distractions are not going to bother your goal. And the path that you have to go will have some hurdles that should not, push you to
A point
where you are going to be like, no, I don't think that this will happen. No. So your mental health and physical health goes hand in hand. If you do all these basic things, these small changes to your lifestyle, you'll start seeing a really good difference within like a week or two. So
I think I'm also going to try it. I know you've supported many, many women and you continue to do so. I've seen so many success stories on your profile and the business profile. But can you share any personal success stories where you've helped women or young entrepreneurs, businesses, and how that impact feels like?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients itself, so it all starts with your social circle, right? So they all had a 9 to 5 job, and then they got inspired through, I don't know, maybe I'm a part of it. I'll just be like, don't ruin your health doing all of this. So when they come and reach out with their business ideas and stuff, I try to just mentor them by telling them what will work for them, what, whether it's product based or service based. So giving them just basic guidelines on how I started. When I look back, I still can't imagine I did all of this, and it's like 8 years now. So I just give them basic tips on how to build their social media, how to promote their brands, branding, marketing, and what their niche is. Because without niche, I don't think you'll have a very specific target audience. It'll be all over the place. So I have a few of them who I've helped, and it brings me so much joy when I see them, having their own business running, and they send me their goodies and all of that, and it's like such a personal win for me as well. So this is what we do, not just
Not just
physical
yeah.
thing. We whatever we try to do, we do it for the best, and especially for women, we are all there.
I think it takes a village, as they say. It takes the
100%.
community is at the heart of everything that we do.
100%.
The Arise for You program is about nurturing student-driven innovation. We spoke about this earlier also.
Exactly.
And if you were a student today, what idea or passion would you want to turn into a venture? You can't say fitness because you already have one in that. But if you were given this opportunity today, what is something else that you might want to do with it?
So maybe something to do with the kids or toddlers, because I'm there right now. So maybe come up with some ideas that relates to how to handle kids, or for working moms especially, to have like a place where you can help kids and take care of them, so the mothers can take a back seat and focus on their career and their goals. Something like that, maybe.
That sounds interesting. If somebody comes up with something, I will definitely let you know about it.
Please do.
What advice would you give young people, especially women who are hesitant about taking their first step? And I know being a woman especially comes with a lot of more reservations, and that hesitation comes from so many different places. And I'm sure you've at some point felt maybe some of those in your journey itself. So what would your advice be to them?
So the first step is the most scariest step, because I was a 9 to 5 IT professional. To leave that, because that was
The safety
net.
Yeah.
So leaving that and coming to this, where you have zero knowledge, don't know anyone who's going to support you, or have like a team or anything. It was just me who was running the entire business. So when I started it, I just took a leap of faith. So I was like, okay, if it's not gonna go well, I
Go back
can
to
go
the
back
9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. But then the push, and I had zero, support, or someone who I could look up to or follow their footsteps. So I just did it. I took 1 year after I started the business to learn how this happens, what is the back end of how do you run a business, and what needs to be done, what shouldn't be done, and all of that. So yeah,
That is, I think, very important. So I think, and I think it's also the fear of failing. I think
of
that
course,
stops a lot of
100%.
people.
That's what the leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
When you don't have faith in yourself, you'll have that fear to take that first step to start a business. But once you do and you get the hang of it, there's no stopping.
And I think it's also really important to fail, because until you fail, you're never really
100%.
going to learn. And
100%.
your failures are like your biggest stepping stones at the end of the
Exactly.
day. How important is it to build and have a support system? I know we've discussed this in like different angles, but as a mother, as a founder, as a woman in today's generation, in today's world, there is a lot of community, and there is a lot of talk about people building communities
Exactly.
and in so many different capacities. But how do you think that impacts not just on the business front, but on your personal front and in the longer run? And how important is it to have that sense of, hey, I've got somebody
Yes,
that's got my
exactly.
back, if nothing else.
That will actually change the entire game for you, because when you know you have someone that you can rely on, no matter what aspect or what difficulty you're facing in different aspects like business or motherhood, if you know there's someone who can guide you at least in one thing, say like a business oriented, if there's some guidance or a group, a community that is helping you, please take it. Like, come on, it makes your work a little bit better, at least 20%, not 100%. But yes, you can take help, you have to take help to be able to ace all the other titles they give us.
Yeah,
So,
the other titles that are given, yes. Agree
Yes.
that. And basically, I would say all the other roles that you fulfill at the end of the day.
Exactly, correct.
If a Rise for You program had been available during, let's say, your college days, would you have applied? And would you have thought about it? And what about it would have motivated you to take a step towards it?
100%. Like, that's what I just told you, right? If someone was there for me to like give me that support, I would go all out. So yeah, I will of course take the help, because we need it, not just to simplify the business and make our dream an actual reality, but also to take a little bit of load from your shoulders. So I would of course take a Rise for You to help me and support my business. And they are super affordable. So when you have such an amazing opportunity that comes with such a very affordable price, like, close your eyes and just go
Go for
grab
it.
it. Exactly. Skip 1 hour of shopping and you can afford this as well. So let's do it.
Just skip online shopping and you can afford
Exactly,
it.
yeah. So you have to, take it, and if it's going to benefit you by building a career,
Why not?
Why not?
That's really nice to know. Okay, we have now like a little bit of fun that we're going to do. We've done a lot of serious talking.
Okay.
So first up is our rapid fire round.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I just don't want you to give it too much thought. The first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, so your favorite wellness ritual.
10 minutes out in the sun.
Your best motivational quote.
If it's easy, I don't want it.
And what's always in your gym bag.
Travel size perfume. I don't want to smell bad. So yeah, obviously.
Those were pretty quick, and I feel like you've done this before because you had your answers super ready. And well, now if you could design a Herculean challenge for students, what would it be?
30 minutes of movement for 30 days.
And you're saying it'll become a habit after 30 days?
Exactly. Give it 21 days with whatever you're doing, it's going to become a part of your lifestyle. After that, there's no stopping. Even if your body doesn't want to, your mind will make you feel so guilty that you'll get up and go get it done. So,
I think beyond a point, you start moving for the mind, and it stops being the vice versa,
100%.
right?
All the happy hormones will kick in, and then you'll be such a happy girl jumping all over the place.
I think that's all we want at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And now I'd like to talk a little bit more about some myths that are very, very common. Again, you don't have to give it too much of thought. I would like it to be a
Whatever.
little,
Yeah.
rapid fire itself. What's one myth about fitness?
That lifting weights bulk women up.
And what's one myth about entrepreneurship?
That you need a lot of money to start a business.
Oh, you don't?
No.
That's good to know. What's one about motherhood? I love how you halted immediately.
Doesn't need to be like, you have to give up on everything just because you're a mother.
You can do everything and still be a mother.
100%.
I see you do it, and I know you're really, really
Thank
good
you
at
so
it.
much.
Looking back, is there one lesson or experience that you think every student entrepreneur should know? Because we go through life, we go through those 4 years of college is a breeze because you're just trying to get your
Chilling,
8 a.m.
having
lecture, you're
fun.
trying to get in your fun, you're trying to
Yeah.
get into culturals. and
Culturals, yeah.
We're so busy living it that we're really not living it. But if you had one advice that, hey, you know what? Keep your eye out for these things as you're a part of that journey. Because looking back, I feel like those things really do shape me and it's something that I still carry with me. So what would that one experience or lesson be for students today to really keep an eye out for?
In terms of entrepreneurship. When
In
you
terms of
start
entrepreneurship, yes. In terms
business,
of
right?
tomorrow, you
Yeah.
keep an eye on this because it's really going to help you a long way.
So, draw a line between family and friends and your business. If it's your product or service, even if it's your close friend, ask them to purchase it. Do not give freebies because no. It's your own dream. You put on a lot of effort for it. So no matter what it is, you need to, charge and put a price on your services. So please don't do it, because I did it and then they started taking it as an advantage. So they just reach out randomly and be like, can you just help me with this, help me? No. After maybe once I can do it, that was one of the biggest things that I still regret saying, no. Whether it's family or close friends, they have to value your brand, your business. If your close friends don't do it, then how can you expect
a stranger
to do it? So please draw a line between, your personal life and your
professional.
Business. Yeah, exactly.
Basically, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Please don't do it for free.
And I think, and more so in university, because the whole concept of collaborative effort and all of that is so much more. And if you have the talent and if you have what it takes,
and if you know you are,
if you know how to make money out of it, you should.
Please don't go for it. Do not settle for bare minimum.
I think that was a really, really insightful conversation. And as we're coming down to the end of our conversation, what's next for you and what's next for Herculean by Shweta? And beyond that, I would also like to know where students can connect with you, follow your journey. I'm sure a lot of our young girls would want to be in touch. You can also give us a little bit more information about that.
Yeah. So for Herculean, we are planning to open 2 more studios in Chennai. So we are going to be working on that. And people can contact me through Instagram. You can all follow me in Herculean by Shweta Santhanam. So yeah, let's see how this goes.
I'm hoping that there is a lot more work. There is a lot more keeping you busy going forward.
On my toes, always.
Rudra doesn't have to do that for you.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. That was a wonderful conversation. And if you have, any parting thoughts for our students?
So do not give up. Just go for it. Do what makes you happy at the end of the day. If you don't go to sleep being satisfied with what you do, then I think you got to take a back seat, think about what you have to do, what makes you happy, and then go with it.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much.
Thank you.